want to state here that his first responsibility, Mr. Speaker, should be to ensure that the police respect the provisions of Article 244 of the Constitution. We need to restore public confidence on our police being a police service and not a terrorist unit. Mr. Speaker, I've just been wondering, those out there who are looking at us as a country, when they see police officers arresting Honorable Keter the way they did, coming from church with his wife and child, and he's picked like terrorists are arresting somebody, Mr. Speaker. How does the international community look at us, Mr. Speaker, when we raid the house of a former presidential candidate, Maina Wanjigi? You maliciously damage his property. No, it's not right, Mr. Speaker. We must say these things because it's affecting our image out there, Mr. Speaker. Why should the police arrest people with hooded, hiding their faces? Are they thugs? Mr. Speaker, anybody arresting me, I should be able to know who that person is. I should have a right to inform my lawyer, Mr. Speaker. I want Kenyans to be arrested the way Senator Mandago was arrested. The police approached him and said, "Sir, could we kindly arrest you?" Mr. Speaker, that's how we want it to be done. Not the way they picked Senator Cherargei on a Friday, booked him in Muthaiga police. I went there to see him at Gigiri. He was put in a corridor. He was put in a corridor with grills, Mr. Speaker, the whole weekend. That's not right. This lady you call Skofi Naoko, Mr. Speaker, arrested and she made a false publication of information contrary to Section 23 of the Computer and the Cyber Crimes Act. A very small offense. Arrested on the 16th, locked up in a police station, denied access to a lawyer, only to be presented to court yesterday and given a cash bail of 20,000. Are we serious as a country? The police have better things to do, Mr. Speaker. When they gave summons to Maina Wanjigi to appear before DIC, he walked there yesterday. He walked there yesterday, Mr. Speaker. That's how we should be proud as a nation. Then we can say we have a police service, Mr. Speaker. I am the one who defended Honorable Keter. He was arrested. The ESCC published his name on the run to elections and said this is the big fish that we got. I did that case for him in Naivasha. He was acquitted. But before he was acquitted, he was in police detention for 2 nights before he was charged in Naivasha, Mr. Speaker. We don't want this kind of the police being used to do malicious prosecution. And I'm sure even Senator Cherargei, in the fullness of time, he will be a free citizen, Mr. Speaker. So we want, Mr. Speaker, our police service to fight crime. Look at the corruption. Senator Cheruyot, every weekend I drive from Nairobi to Nyamira. On the road, the police officers have put up toll stations, collecting money from Kenyans who are honestly trying to make a living from doing matatu business. It's not right, Mr. Speaker. And the Kenyans, when they enacted this constitution, they put it in Article 244 that the police should prevent corruption, Mr. Speaker. So if this guy can change that image, we can be proud as a country, Mr. Speaker. So he should take office knowing that 2 of his predecessors resigned from office. The first IG, Kimaiyo, was forced out of office. Koome resigned out of office. We don't want that demon to follow him. Let him serve Kenyans, respect the Constitution, respect human rights, and he leaves a mark, Mr. Speaker. That's the only country, that's the only time we will all say, as Kenyans, we passed a constitution that put in place a police service that is there to serve Kenyans. I support his nomination. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I know I have 2 minutes, but I want to spend them very, very quickly. In 2.5 minutes, I'll say what I need to say. Then I'll donate the rest of the 2 minutes to Senator Cherargei, who wants to say something on this topic. Just 2 things, Mr. Speaker. Number 1, the reason why I give a vote of approval to DIG Kanja is that I know, Mr. Speaker, that he's a man of his word. And I want to give him my vote of approval on behalf of the people of Kericho, but with only one assurance. Senator Okongo has spoken about something that I'm very passionate about. If you drive from a place called Total to Kaplong or Chebila to where we border with Senator Okongo Omogeni, you will count more than 20 police stops. And there's nothing else they're doing other than collecting money from matatus. I want to tell Mr. Kanja that the only reason I'm giving you a vote this afternoon on behalf of the people of the Kericho is with the assurance that those police roadblocks will disappear. I don't want to see those toll stations in Kericho. And that is the only deal that I want to enter with him. Second and the final thing, Mr. Speaker, is that I was in the UK last week. And this is just overall about institutions of oversight, Mr. Speaker. You know that they had riots in the UK 2 weeks ago. As we speak today, Mr. Speaker, the police have been able to round up those who are inciting people to violence, including online. The judicial system is so efficient, Mr. Speaker, that those people 2 weeks down the line are in jail already. We need to see that level of efficiency, Mr. Speaker, between the police and the judiciary so that we don't discuss these small issues like the state of arrest or the modus operandi of police while effecting arrest, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, it is my sincere hope that IG Kanja will infuse the level of professionalism that Kenyans are yearning for, Mr. Speaker, into the police service. With those main remarks, I support. I yield the remaining 2 minutes, Mr. Speaker, to Senator Cherargei.
Remaining 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With your indulgence, I want to support this report of that the Committee of National Security, Mr. Speaker. As a guest of most of the police stations, Mr. Speaker, I have slept. It is not only in your county, Kilifi, that I have not slept in that police station, but I hope soon too, in good faith, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to say there are many challenges with the police. Two things I'll mention in quick succession is one, those police stations, Mr. Speaker, when you are arrested and taken to the cell, the last time those police cells were painted was in 1980, Mr. Speaker. When you go, the toilets, Mr. Speaker, are pathetic. I slept on the corridor on Gigiri, which is supposed to be the prestigious police station in this republic, for 3 days. And Senator Okongo Omogeni visited me, Mr. Speaker. Remove my dignity, Mr. Speaker. We want the police under Article 245 to do their job with professionalism, Mr. Speaker. On the police housing, Mr. Speaker, how can you explain police are depressed? Police are killing each other, Mr. Speaker. You are putting two families in one room, Mr. Speaker, where only bed sheets separates them, Mr. Speaker. How will they enjoy their conjugal rights? How will they enjoy their privacy, Mr. Speaker? If you leave your wife and go to night patrol, the other police might patrol your wife at night, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we must give dignity. And I want to challenge the man from Biriri, Inspector General nominee DIG Kanja, the man from Biriri village, to talk with the president and do affordable housing program across all police stations, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy that the issue of body cameras is being introduced to monitor crime and ensure the police are held accountable to the highest police standards across the world, Mr. Speaker. Number 3, Mr. Speaker, is on the police uniform. What happened to the blue police uniform? Nowadays, you get police that are donning green camouflage. Everybody, from DIG, IG to everybody, Mr. Speaker. The issue of police uniform must be sorted out to avoid confusion, Mr. Speaker. Finally, on the financial autonomy, Mr. Speaker, we must agree that the fact that Inspector General of Police is given financial autonomy, Mr. Speaker, it should be reflected, Mr. Speaker. I want to agree with Majority Leader on police stops, Mr. Speaker. When you go to Kapsabet, when you are coming from Kisumu, Mr. Speaker, coming from Eldoret at the airport, at Matunda, Mr. Speaker, there are so many road police blocks, Mr. Speaker, that you are not told what these toll stations are about, Mr. Speaker. We want to see professionalism. I saw Senator Onyonga, Mr. Speaker. You remember when he was the MP, there were allegations that he bought sugar through CDF, dubious deals through CDF, Mr. Speaker. When police were looking for him, how could they have done, Mr. Speaker? If, for example, Jimmy Wanjigi, Mr. Speaker, would have summoned himself, Mr. Speaker, and appear before the police, Mr. Speaker. I want to say, Mr. Speaker, when you are needed by the police, you must submit yourself, Mr. Speaker. If you cannot submit yourself, the police can break, Mr. Speaker, into the bunker, Mr. Speaker. I support that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Order.
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Cherargei just mentioned me adversely wrongly because I never sold sugar using CDF. And the case I had, I won. He's just making this for political expediency. Because I said he was running and crying like a baby. The point of order is that unless you have a
Senator Fernandez. Senator Onyonka, just take your seat.
Thank you.
Senator Gidogo, 2 minutes and we wind up this so that I put the question.
I say allegations.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Order, Senator Fernandez. Order, Senator Fernandez.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to contribute into this very important approval motion, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I was privileged to be among the people that vetted the Inspector General of Police. Mr. Speaker, I want to confirm to this House that the Inspector General, Mr. Speaker, demonstrated a wide range of experience for 39 years, Mr. Speaker, and the committee was convinced beyond reasonable doubt that Mr. Kanja is suitable for the position, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of insecurity, Mr. Speaker, I was very much concerned about the issues of insecurity, how he would handle the issues of insecurity, Mr. Speaker. And, Mr. Speaker, he was very, very eloquent in terms of elaborating on how he's going to handle the issues of insecurities in counties and to the people that are in close proximity to Somalia border. Mr. Speaker, he had an experience in terms of handling the insecurity in the counties that are in proximity to Somalia borders, having worked in Lamu, county that I come from, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I was convinced that he will handle the insecurity issues in those areas. Mr. Speaker, finally, on the issues of demonstration, he was able to demonstrate very clearly that he is going to handle the issues of demonstrations in terms of seeing to it that the law is followed to the letter so that, Mr. Speaker, nobody will feel that, Mr. Speaker, his rights are not followed. Mr. Speaker, finally, I would wish to pray or I'm looking upon, Mr. Speaker, to see to it that, Mr. Speaker, when Mr. Kanja gets into office, Mr. Speaker, he will improve the working condition of our police officers. Mr. Speaker, the police officers are people with families. Mr. Speaker, they need a proper working condition, Mr. Speaker, so that they may feel that this country, Mr. Speaker, or the government is looking upon their families, as well as, Mr. Speaker, seeing to it that their stipend is taken care of, Mr. Speaker, so that they can be given some morale so that they can be able to work and serve the people of this country, Mr. Speaker, effectively. With that, Mr. Speaker, I support this motion, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
The Chairperson, Standing Committee, Security, to proceed and